Let's talk about influencer marketing. Influencer marketing is indeed a mainstream type of marketing and advertising. It is not a fad. The reason I know it's not a fad because it predates social media. Because in the old days, we used to call it celebrity endorsements. In other words, when I was a buyer, I told the owners over there, I said, look, we're not going to buy advertising space on anybody's radio show unless we can get one of the personalities to endorse the product. I still stick by that model today. I have a client right now over advertising on Sirius XM, and I insisted that Joe Madison read the ad because he is an influencer. He doesn't call himself that, but I know an influencer when I see one. So if this is not a fly-by-night concept, it has been given new relevance in the digital age because now we have analytics. You can't just go out here and say I'm an influencer because the first thing they're going to do is say, look, they're going to go take a look at your Instagram account. They're going to look at your Facebook page. I got a link. I got an email from Amazon, and they invited me to join their program. And they said, the first thing they asked you for, I want to see your link to your Instagram account, send me the link to YouTube account, send me the link to your LinkedIn page, send me the link to your Facebook page or anything else you got going on out there. We want to see your website. And then they would determine based on that information if you do have indeed influence. So that's how people are chosen for influence, because one way to do it is to manually reach out to people. And we're going to talk about ways how you can find influencers as well. But that's one way to do it. They just manually reach out to people that they see on the internet or on social media. Now, the whole concept of influencer marketing is the power to influence people's purchasing decisions by using your authority, knowledge, position, relationship, and influence. And usually that influence is directed towards a certain niche. And so some organization who has a interest in that particular audience would use that influencer to use his or her influence to help move their product or promote their brand. Now, the numbers on this influencer concept is pretty staggering. The marketing of influencers has grown to a $13.8 billion industry in 2021. And in 2022, that number is going to jump to 16 billion. Okay. Also, the return on the investment for influencers is about for every dollar spent, you're going to get about $6 in return. That means about 16%, which is really right in line with traditional advertising. So the biggest influencer brand out there, the platform is right now, is probably Instagram. That's where the influencer marketing has its greatest impact right now. Now, it's not just about you go out here and start finding folks who have influence and say, look, I see you have influence. Will you promote my service? You have to understand that an influencer has spent considerable time building a brand, building a platform, building a social media presence, and they are very protective of it. And they're not going to be just out here talking about anything and anybody and ruin that goodwill. It's not for quick results. It's not something you're going to jump out here and get an influence and turn your business around overnight. It follows the same type of path as social media in general. It's about content creation, building relationships, nurturing, and so forth. So you have to go into it with the right attitude and be realistic. Now, how does it differ from traditional social media marketing? Well, like most people, you go out here, you set up your little Facebook page, you set up your Instagram account, and you just are posting. You just are sharing. You just are commenting. You're engaging left, you're engaging right. And then you're out here creating content. You're really working yourself to death. And then you look at your numbers, you only got like 100 people following you. So what's all that work for? You're doing all of this work for 100 people. You're doing all this work, in some cases, you don't even have 100 people. And you're trying to create all this content for 50 people. Instead of trying to create go, like starting from the square block one, spend this time to find yourself an influencer who has already reached those folks that you're trying to reach. And they have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of followers that are in your niche market area. That's the difference. So you're still taking advantage of social media, but you're taking a more targeted approach through the influencer. So how do you start your own influencer program? Okay. And also, just quickly, an influencer does not have to be a celebrity. So that's one of the differences between celebrity endorsements and influencers. Influencers, many of them don't even consider themselves celebrities at all. They just happen to build a following due to their stature, their experience, their popularity. And many have used that popularity now as leverage, as marketing, and people are willing to pay them. So if you're going to start an influencer marketing campaign, here's some quick tips. Define your goals, understand why you want to have a campaign for influence. Is it to build sales, to grow your brand, be more effective in your advertising, reach that 16% versus now you may be getting 50% return on your investment. You want to put together a strategy. Like anything marketing, it starts with a strategy. Define your audience. Make sure that audience is aligned with the influencer you're trying to reach. And find the best influencer for your brand. Now, how do you find these influencers? Well, like Amazon found me, there are agencies and there are platforms that will help you find an influencer. They're going to take a little piece of it like anything else. Nothing's free. But if you really want to jump into the influencer marketing arena, there are platforms. There's influencermarketinghub.com. There's grin.co. and a few others out there. Also, you can go through an agency like a marketing, advertising agency, digital marketing agency, and they will help you reach those influencers. Of course, once again, you have to pay them. Then once you do that, you make the contact, build that relationship, and you might find out that influencer marketing may have been the missing tool from your advertising arsenal all this time, and you're here spinning all these wheels on social media when somebody else already had that audience that you're trying to reach.